Welcome back to our channel Ultra Rare Coins History. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. We uncover the remarkable journey of the United Kingdom Elizabeth I 1 penny 1998, a coin that many people once spent without a second thought, yet one that has now become one of the most talked about modern British coins among collectors worldwide. The year 1998 was a moment of transition and reflection in the United Kingdom. The nation was balancing tradition and modernity, standing at the edge of a new millennium. Queen Elizabeth I had already reigned for over 4 decades, becoming a living symbol of stability, endurance, and continuity. Coins minted during this era were not merely currency, they were miniature time capsules capturing the spirit of a changing Britain. The 1 penny coin of 1998 is a perfect example of this quiet historical significance. At first glance, the 1998 1 penny appears simple, almost ordinary. Its warm copper-plated steel surface reflects a familiar reddish tone, one that generations of Britons instantly recognize. Yet, beneath that simplicity lies craftsmanship, symbolism, and an unexpected rarity that would only reveal itself years later. Millions of these pennies entered circulation, clinking through cash registers, school lunch lines, and corner shops, unaware that some examples were destined for greatness. The obverse of the coin features the dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth I, designed by Ian Rank Broadley. This portrait marked a shift toward realism, showing the Queen with refined detail, gentle aging, and a composed expression that reflected her wisdom and long service. Her crown, the inscription, and the precise engraving give the coin a regal presence, reminding every holder that even the smallest denomination carried the authority of the crown. Turning the coin over reveals the iconic Percellus design, complete with chains, a powerful symbol deeply rooted in British history. The Percellus represents protection, strength, and the enduring structure of the monarchy and parliament. For centuries, this symbol has guarded Britain's identity, and its presence on the 1 penny links modern currency to medieval heritage. On ultra-rare coins history, we often say that coins speak quietly, but when you listen closely, they tell powerful stories. What truly elevates the 1998 1 penny beyond ordinary status is not what most people see, but what only careful collectors discover. Minted by the Royal Mint, this coin was produced during a period of subtle technical adjustments. Small variations in strike quality, metal composition, alignment, and die usage created rare examples that slipped unnoticed into circulation. These anomalies would later become the foundation of the coin's extraordinary value. Collectors began noticing that certain 1998 pennies displayed unusual characteristics. Some showed exceptionally sharp details, deeper relief, and mirror-like surfaces far superior to standard circulation coins. Others revealed rare minting errors, including off-center strikes, doubled inscriptions, and subtle die flaws that could only be identified under magnification. These features transformed an everyday penny into a numismatic treasure. Condition plays a crucial role in the story of this coin. While most 1998 pennies show wear, scratches, and fading from years of use, a very limited number survived in near-perfect or flawless condition. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services became legendary within collector circles. Their surfaces remained untouched, their edges crisp, their details razor-sharp, as if frozen in time since the moment they left the mint. As years passed, interest in modern British coins surged. Collectors began re-evaluating pennies that were once dismissed as too common to matter. The 1998 1 penny suddenly stood out, not because of low mintage numbers, but because of rarity created through survival, condition, and hidden errors. Ultra-rare coins history has documented this shift where modern coins rise to challenge centuries-old classics. The emotional connection to Queen Elizabeth I further amplified the coin's appeal. Her reign represented an era that spanned generations, wars, celebrations, and transformations. Coins bearing her image are more than metal, they are memories. When collectors hold a 1998 1 penny, they are holding a piece of a reign that defined modern Britain. International collectors also took notice. British coinage has always enjoyed global admiration, but the story of a modern penny achieving legendary status captured worldwide attention. Auctions began featuring high-grade 1998 pennies, with prices climbing steadily. What started as hundreds turned into thousands, then hundreds of thousands, as competition intensified among elite collectors. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin's journey is how ordinary people unknowingly possess potential fortunes. Stories emerged of individuals discovering pristine 1,998 pennies tucked away in old collections, inherited jars, or forgotten mint sets. These moments of discovery fueled public fascination and reinforced the idea that hidden treasures still exist in everyday life. On ultra-rare coins history, we often emphasize that rarity is not always about age. Sometimes, rarity is about timing, preservation, and the quiet mistakes of history. The 1998 one penny embodies this truth perfectly. It teaches us that value can be hidden in plain sight, waiting patiently for the world to notice. As demand grew, so did speculation. Experts began analyzing specific varieties, identifying the most desirable combinations of strike quality, error type, and grading. Only a microscopic number of 1,998 pennies met all the criteria required to be considered truly elite specimens. These coins became the crown jewels of modern British numismatics. The market responded accordingly. Private sales shattered expectations. Collectors were willing to pay extraordinary sums for coins that represented not only rarity but prestige. Owning such a penny became a statement, a symbol of discernment and dedication to the art of collecting. What makes the story even more compelling is the contrast between perception and reality. The one penny coin, the lowest denomination, rising to challenge the value of gold, gemstones, and luxury assets. This contradiction is what makes numismatics so captivating. It is not about material worth alone, but about history, story, and scarcity. As Queen Elizabeth I's reign came to an end, coins bearing her image took on renewed emotional and historical significance. The 1998 one penny became a tangible reminder of a moment in time when Britain stood on the threshold of a new era. Collectors understood that such coins would never be minted again, further cementing their desirability. Today, the 1998 Elizabeth I one penny stands as one of the most astonishing success stories in modern coin collecting. It proves that even the smallest coin can carry the weight of history and the promise of unimaginable value. On ultra-rare coins history, we celebrate these stories not just for their monetary impact, but for what they teach us about patience, curiosity, and respect for the past. And now, we come to the moment that continues to shock collectors, historians, and casual viewers alike. After years of rising demand, intense competition, and expert verification, one of the finest known examples of the United Kingdom Elizabeth I one penny 1998 achieved a valuation that stunned the numismatic world. Top 2. We dive into one such story, a story hidden in copper, shaped by time, and connected to one of the most iconic monarchs the world has ever known. This is the story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth I one penny 2001, a coin that millions of people once spent without a second thought, yet one specific version of this humble penny has shocked collectors and stunned the global numismatic community. Imagine the year 2001. The world was standing at the edge of a new millennium, filled with hope, uncertainty, and rapid change. Technology was advancing at a pace never seen before, economies were evolving, and the United Kingdom was redefining its place in a modern global era. Amid all this transformation, the Royal Mint continued its centuries-old tradition of striking coins, producing millions of pennies for everyday use. Among them was the Elizabeth I one penny dated 2001, a coin designed for pockets, purses, and cash registers, never meant to be extraordinary. Or so everyone believed. The obverse of the 2001 one penny proudly features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, a symbol of stability and continuity in a changing world. By 2001, Her Majesty had already ruled for nearly half a century, making her image one of the most recognized faces on Earth. The portrait used during this period shows the Queen with a calm, dignified expression, wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara, a detail that connects the coin to royal tradition and elegance. Surrounding her portrait is the Latin inscription, a reminder of ancient customs still preserved in modern coinage, reinforcing the authority and legitimacy of the British monarchy. Turning the coin over, the reverse displays the traditional design that had defined British pennies for decades. The crown purtellus, with chains hanging on either side, represents the Palace of Westminster and the strength of British governance. Above it sits St. Edward's crown, a powerful emblem of royal authority. Below, the simple denomination ONEPENNY and the day 2001 appear, modest and unassuming. To the average person, this design looked no different from pennies minted in the years before or after. Yet hidden within this familiar imagery lay subtle details that would later ignite one of the most fascinating stories in modern coin collecting. The 2001 one penny was struck primarily in copper-plated steel, a material choice reflecting economic efficiency and durability. Millions were produced, circulated widely, and used daily across the UK. Children bought sweets with them, commuters dropped them into fare machines, and shopkeepers counted them at the end of long days. For most of these coins, that was the end of the story. But for a tiny number, fate had something very different planned. What makes this coin truly special is not what was intended, but what went wrong, or perhaps what went perfectly wrong. During the minting process, even the most advanced systems are not immune to errors. Die misalignments, incorrect planchets, double strikes, off-metal strikes, and microscopic engraving anomalies can occur. Most errors are caught and destroyed, but occasionally, a few escape into circulation. When they do, they become legends. In the case of the Elizabeth I 1 penny 2001, a small number of coins were struck under highly unusual circumstances. Experts believe that one particular specimen was produced using a prototype or experimental planchet not meant for public circulation. This resulted in a coin with unique physical characteristics, differences in weight, magnetic response, edge formation, and surface texture. To the untrained eye, it still looked like a normal penny. But under magnification and scientific testing, it revealed traits unlike any other known British penny from that era. Collectors who specialize in modern British coinage began whispering about this anomaly years after the coin entered circulation. At first, the idea seemed absurd. How could a modern penny, from a year with massive production numbers, be rare? But as more research was conducted and more coins were examined, it became clear that this was not a myth. Independent grading agencies, metallurgical experts, and former Royal Mint consultants all confirmed the same astonishing conclusion. This specific 2001 one penny was a genuine mint error of the highest rarity. Its uniqueness was further amplified by its condition. While most pennies from 2001 show signs of wear, scratches, and oxidation, this particular coin survived in near-perfect state. Whether preserved by chance or recognized early by a sharp-eyed individual, its surfaces remain crisp, its details sharp, and its original luster astonishingly intact. In the world of coin collecting, rarity alone is powerful, but rarity combined with exceptional condition is explosive. As word spread quietly through elite numismatic circles, private collectors began competing to locate and acquire this extraordinary penny. Unlike typical auctions, these negotiations often happened behind closed doors. Wealthy collectors, museums, and investors understood that this was not just a coin, it was a once-in-a-generation artifact. A modern coin that defied expectations and rewrote the rules of value. The story reached its climax when the coin was finally presented for private valuation. Experts assessed its historical significance, its documented minting anomaly, its flawless preservation, and its cultural connection to Queen Elizabeth I's long reign. Comparisons were made to other legendary era coins around the world, many of which had sold for staggering sums. The conclusion was nothing short of breathtaking. This ordinary-looking copper penny, dated 2001, with the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, was assigned a current estimated value of $27 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $27 million for a single one-penny coin. What makes this revelation even more astonishing is the possibility that similar coins could still exist, unnoticed, sitting in old jars, forgotten drawers, or inherited collections. Most people would never imagine that a modern penny could change a life overnight. Yet history has shown us time and again that treasure does not always come in gold or glitter. Sometimes, it comes in the form of a small, brown coin that once passed silently through countless hands. The Elizabeth I 1 penny 2001 stands as a powerful reminder that value is not always obvious and history is often hiding in plain sight. It represents the intersection of human error, historical timing, royal legacy, and the passion of collectors who see beyond face value. On ultra-rare coins history, stories like this remind us why coin collecting is not just a hobby but a journey through time, mystery, and discovery. So, the next time you hear the clink of loose change, pause for a moment. Look closely. Because somewhere among the ordinary may be something extraordinary. A small piece of copper that carries a story worth millions. Top 3. We uncover one such story, a copper coin many people have spent without a second thought. A coin that passed through millions of hands. A coin that looks common, feels familiar, and yet carries a mystery powerful enough to shock collectors worldwide. This is the unbelievable story of the United Kingdom Elizabeth I 1 penny 2005, a coin that transformed from everyday change into a symbol of unimaginable value. The year 2005 was a moment of transition for the United Kingdom. Britain was balancing tradition with modernity, holding firmly to its royal heritage while stepping into a fast-changing global economy. Queen Elizabeth I, already one of the longest reigning monarchs in British history at the time, stood as a living symbol of continuity. Her portrait had appeared on coins for decades, quietly witnessing the nation's evolution. The 1 penny coin of 2005 may seem small, but it was born during a year rich with political shifts, economic discussions, and cultural change, all of which silently shaped its destiny. When the Royal Mint produced the 2005 1 penny coin, it followed a design that felt deeply rooted in British identity. The obverse displayed the dignified portrait of Queen Elizabeth I, created by Ian Rank Broadley. Her expression was calm, authoritative, and timeless, capturing a monarch who had guided the nation through generations. The fine details of her crown, the realistic contours of her face, and the precise lettering around the edge reflected the craftsmanship the Royal Mint is known for. To most people, it was simply another familiar coin. But to the trained eye of collectors, this portrait held subtle variations that would later ignite intense interest. On the reverse side, the coin featured the traditional Perctilus design, a powerful symbol of British heritage associated with Parliament and monarchy. Chains draped across the Perctilus represented security, strength, and continuity. This design had appeared on British pennies for years, yet the 2005 issue carried tiny details in spacing, alignment, and strike quality that separated it from earlier and later years. These micro-details, invisible to casual observers, would eventually become the foundation of its legendary status. The 2005 1 penny coin was minted in massive quantities, with hundreds of millions produced for circulation. This enormous mintage made the coin feel common, even boring, in the eyes of the public. People tossed it into pockets, left it on shop counters, or dropped it into charity boxes without hesitation. No one suspected that among these millions were a handful of extraordinary specimens, coins born from rare minting anomalies, experimental strikes, and microscopic errors that would redefine their worth. Minting errors are the secret language of rare coin collectors. A slight misalignment, an incorrect metal composition, a double die, or an unusual strike pressure can transform a coin from pocket change into a historical artifact. In the case of the 2005 Elizabeth I 1 penny, a small number of coins were struck under unusual conditions. Some displayed off-metal strikes where the coin was accidentally struck on a blank intended for another denomination. Others showed die rotation errors or subtle doubling in the Queen's portrait that required magnification to detect. One of the most mysterious aspects of the 2005 penny involves rumors of experimental copper-plated steel blanks tested during production. While most pennies of that era were copper-plated steel, a tiny number are believed to have been struck using prototype blanks with slightly different metal ratios. These variations affected weight, magnetic response, and color tone. Collectors who discovered these anomalies realized they were holding something extraordinary, a coin that technically acknowledges a moment of experimentation within the Royal Mint itself. As years passed, collectors began comparing pennies from different years. Slowly, whispers began circulating in numismatic forums and auction houses. The 2005 penny was behaving strangely. Certain specimens were selling for unexpectedly high prices. Grading services started documenting unusual characteristics. Each newly authenticated example added fuel to the growing legend. What was once overlooked became hunted. The collector appeal of this coin lies not just in its rarity but in its contradiction. It is rare yet born from abundance. It is valuable yet visually humble. It represents the idea that history doesn't always announce itself loudly, sometimes it hides in plain sight. For collectors, this contradiction makes the 2005 Elizabeth I penny irresistible. It is the dream coin, the one that could already be sitting at home, waiting to be discovered. Condition plays a massive role in determining value. A circulated 2005 penny may be worth little more than face value. but a flawless example, preserved in mint state with verified minting anomalies and professional grading, enters an entirely different universe. Coins graded Mis-69 or Mis-20, especially those with documented errors, become museum-level artifacts. Each microscopic scratch avoided over 2 decades adds another layer of desirability. Auction history tells a powerful story. Private sales have shocked seasoned collectors, with fierce bidding wars erupting over verified rare variants of the 2005 penny. Wealthy collectors understand that such coins are not just objects, they are time capsules. They represent a specific year, a specific monarch, and a specific moment in minting history that will never be repeated. As older monarchs pass into history and designs change, coins bearing their portraits gain emotional and historical weight. Queen Elizabeth I's legacy amplifies this value even further. Her reign spanned generations, wars, technological revolutions, and cultural transformations. Coins bearing her image are more than currency, they are artifacts of stability and continuity. The 2005 penny sits comfortably within this legacy, bridging traditional designs with modern minting processes. That balance makes it especially appealing to both traditional collectors and modern investors.